Hey, good evening. This is Kathy Beatty with Divorce Support Anonymous, coming to you on Friday night, wanting to step into your life for a few moments to give you some tools and some help as you go through the trauma of divorce. For the past 18 years, I've been leading groups and I have been a divorce coach, and I also became a divorce mediator to help you and to help those who want to get through the trauma of divorce with the least amount of damage. That damage, it comes in many ways through divorce. It comes through financial, it comes through emotional, it comes through spiritual, it comes through relationships, obviously, not just the one that you're divorcing, but everyone in your family is affected by divorce. And I do my best to try to ease that damage. And there are ways in which to do that. In fact, I've been working with a lot of people this week, saving them actually thousands and thousands of dollars because they can do a lot of the work themselves before they go and hire an attorney and throw up their hands and do whatever the attorney tells them to do. With some knowledge, you can do a lot of this work yourself and save yourself a lot of money and also a lot of heartache. Divorce mediation is a way in which you can come together with your soon to be former spouse and work through a lot of these details. You can do it with attorneys and you also can do it without attorneys. I do many of them in both ways, actually. Um, and if you look on my YouTube channel, you will find a couple of videos that explain how to go through mediation or through a divorce without using attorneys. Now, caveat, I don't say do it yourself. I do want you to take what you have created in your mediation to a legal advisor, to an attorney, to someone to look over this document since it is legal, it is legally binding. I don't want you to step into something that's going to have surprises later. So when I mediate without attorneys, I always advise them, you can take this document, this agreement, before you sign it, before you make it legal, and take it to an attorney and have them review it with you to tell you where are the vulnerable spots. Because as a mediator, I can't advise you. As a divorce coach, I will advise you. But when I'm a mediator, I don't give advice. That is a neutral party in which really provides the structure for you and your soon to be former spouse to divide the assets, the debts, decide the parenting time, et cetera, et cetera. All the issues of divorce. So, if you are in need of those services, reach out and let's have a discussion. I don't charge for the first hour, and you are certainly welcome to pick my brain or to get some advice from me as to what's the best way to do this. So, I am centered out of Michigan. However, I've been working with people all over, actually. I have someone in Jamaica, in Wisconsin, in Texas, in Montana, and several other states in which I'm working with them. So, due to the wonderful part of having Zoom, I can help you and assist you directly through a Zoom conference call. So, keep it in mind wherever you're at. If you are in the local area, or actually not in the local area, I do hybrid, and my next group is going to begin on October 10th. Sounds like a long way off right now, but it's not. It'll be here before we know it. We'll be wearing coats and hats and boots and all of that stuff. At least here in Michigan, we will. So connect with me for a registration form. I'd love to guide you through that. So tonight's topic is acceptance, accepting the divorce. Acceptance is such an important stage of divorce. In fact, it is so important. When we go through this workbook, through my groups, we spend several weeks on it because you have to get to the point where you accept what is the facts that are in front of you. That's what you need to accept before you can move forward. I had a quote today that was, I'm not finding it now, about reality and how we have to deal in reality. And acceptance is that of accepting the reality of where we are. And that is the precursor to moving forward. We have to accept it. because until then, we're really just playing mind games and having false hopes. We have to accept this is where I am. It is crucial before you're moving forward. You have to get to that point. So, for those of you who think I'm going to jump into the next relationship and that's going to heal me and it's going to fix me and it's going to make my life happy and peaceful, it's not. How many times have I talked with people who made this huge mistake of jumping into the next relationship, the next marriage, only to find that they were not healed and they were believing something that wasn't truth, and they were rationalizing their way into something that they wanted so badly. Your healing is what you want so badly. It's not found in the next relationship. It's found in focusing on your healing. So you have to get into the acceptance stage before you can move forward. And in this book, we do acceptance. And then after that, the next stage is moving forward, which is my favorite stage to jump into. So how do we do that? How do we accept the divorce? First, we have to accept the losses. Boy, that's hard. That's hard because some of them are huge. The loss of the dream, the loss of the future, the loss of all the plans that you had with this individual. And so that is part of the grief process, right? You've heard the 5 stages of grief. And one of those stages are acceptance. We have to, and this is a grief. It seems like a death in many ways, but this is a grief. And so part of the grief process is that acceptance, accepting the losses, accepting your children will not have that other parent in the house with them, and that those dynamics have totally changed. So there's so much, and this may take help to do. It's not something you can just decide one day, okay, I'm just going to accept the losses. No, it's a rather painful process. You have to be honest enough with yourself to write down what those losses are. It's like, oh, that sounds so painful. No, it's actually clarifying, and it helps you to grieve, to be able to express, to articulate what's really going on inside of you. And that's a huge part of accepting the losses. We also have to accept finances where they are. Many people, in fact, I don't know any who profit or benefit financially from going through a divorce. And life is different. Life is different. We have to accept that I'm not perhaps going to have the same lifestyle that I once had when I was married. And that also is a process to work through, but we have to look at honestly what our numbers are, what are our finances. And then we have to guard ourselves that we're not living beyond our means, which just further complicates our life. Last week, if you were listening, I talked about the importance of simplifying. This is one area where you must simplify. It's going to be for your long-term benefit. Don't go searching and buying that which you cannot handle. Don't buy the big house. Don't buy the beautiful condo. Buy the condo, the home that you really can live in. That's what matters. That's what matters, because you don't want to be house poor. You don't want to spend beyond your means. You do want to work on your own budget. And there are ways certainly to do that. And I can direct you on how to do that. I'm not a financial expert, but I know some people who are, and they can help guide you with the reality and the acceptance of here's where you are. Doesn't mean you'll stay that way, but it does mean that this is where you are right now, and you need to adjust accordingly. Accept your singleness. Accept your singleness. That's such a mind shift. Again, a process. All of this is a process, right? Of accepting where you're at. Thank you, Facebook user. It doesn't tell me who this is. It just says Facebook user. So thank you. It says great points as always. Thank you. I appreciate your jumping in and your comments. But accepting your singleness. I'm single now. I don't even know what that means, right? After so many years of marriage, what does it mean that I'm single now? Well, that requires some exploration. And as a divorce coach, or maybe your therapist, can help guide you through that. What does that mean now that I'm single? And how do I handle this singleness? We have to get to a point, okay, I'm single. That means responsibility is on me. But that also means responsibility is on me. And I can direct my life in a different way in which I see fit and that I see is going to be beneficial. I can create my own future now. And that, when we go moving forward and we also jump into, there's my other book here, this book of Rebuilding Your Life After Divorce, which, by the way, I do have a group coming up. Haven't decided a date yet, but in the fall, I'm going to do another group on building your future after divorce. So stay tuned on that. Accepting your singleness. That means, okay, I'm going to accept where I am now. I now have full responsibility for my finances, for my life, for my house, for my job, for everything. And I need to accept that. Not be overwhelmed by it, but accept it. And then explore, what does that mean? And what possibilities does that mean? You see, your happiness is not always in the next relationship. Your happiness is accepting who you are. And maybe, just maybe, God has an amazing future for you that does not include a marriage. That's not all bad. So we have to get off this Cinderella track that thinks, well, I have to have another person or I won't be happy. I've met a lot of single people who are very content in their singleness. Accepting others where they are. Boy, that's a hard one. To accept people where they are, and that where they are may be not accepting you or having an agenda for your life or having expectations for you that are not realistic or the way you want to go with your life. We have to accept others where they are. And for those people who have left us and no longer want to be a part of our life after the divorce, we have to accept that. We have to say, you know what? I lost a lot of friends going through this, people who I thought were friends going through this. But I can make new friends. I can find those people who are going to help me move forward. And I can let those others go. And I also can learn to love those people from a distance that I need to. Those people who are no longer good for us, who no longer fit into our life. Accepting others where they are. And then in acceptance is the period where we say, okay, now once I've accepted this, what's left? What's good? What's left? What's good? My children, if you had children from the marriage, my children are good. I have, and now I can form a different kind, perhaps, but a deep relationship with my children. And then I can begin in acceptance to open my eyes to a future and say, what's next? Where do I want to go from here? It's a big world. Where do I want to go from here? The world is open before you. You don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have a lot of things to dream and have goals for a future for yourself. And that is part of the benefit and reward of acceptance. Because once you accept where you are, then the world starts opening up. And you can ask the question, what's next? You know, divorce is really going through a season. And one of the verses that you've probably heard at many weddings is Ecclesiastes. There's a time for everything. There's a time and a season for everything. There's a time and season for every activity under heaven. That also includes this messy transition of going through divorce. There's a season, and this season is so chaotic and so difficult and so painful. But don't waste the pain of this divorce. Don't waste this time that you're going through. There is a time to heal, And that is the time, my friend, that you're in right now. There's a time to heal, a time to tear down, a time to build. In the divorce process, a lot has been torn down. A lot had to be torn down to protect you, to protect your children, to protect your future. But there is a time to build that's coming as well. There's a time to mourn, a time to weep, a time to laugh. You've had your time of weeping. You've had your time of mourning. It is going to turn. There is going to be a future. It's going to come much quicker if you are intentional and you have plans and you're working on it and not denying where you are. You're accepting where you are so you can have a time to build, to move forward. A time to dance is coming. There's a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. There's a time to let things go, and there's a time to start organizing and planning for a new life. Acceptance is so important in the process of divorce. It's not easy. It's surreal what you're going through. For you to really look at this logically is so difficult. Your brain won't let you. Some people won't let you. You're in denial, trying to protect yourself. It doesn't protect yourself. What protects you is beginning to accept where you are so you can begin to move forward. This is a time to accept what is so you can take the next step toward your healing. So important. Acceptance, the stage of acceptance is so important. This book that I use through my groups is also available online, as are all of my other books. This book, Building Your Future After Divorce, Rebuilding Your Life After Divorce. So this is going through divorce, this is after divorce. And then there's another little one that is actually a really important book that I don't talk about much. This is Processing the First Year After Your Divorce. It helps you to document and to journal all of those important first in your life. So there are resources there. There's a lot of resources there. There's also, before I end, let me just say this one, which is so very important, which is actually a free download. So you can request, send me an email, and I'll send it to you. It has helped many, many, many people organizing before they see the attorney. So you can ask for that, and I'll send it to you. Download. I only need your email address. That's all I need, and I won't follow up with any other spam or any other emails. It's simply my gift to you, because my goal is to minimize the damage of divorce. I hope you're doing well, and I hope that you reach out if I can be of help to you in any way. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we will see you next week on Divorce Support Anonymous Friday Night Live. Have a good evening.